We're going to go over the E-flat major scale. So E-flat, remember, is found right here because here's C, D, E, and then when you flat a note, you lower it a half step. It's usually to a black note, and so that's one note lower. There's E-flat. So the thing that, well, let's go over the notes first. So the E-flat scale follows the regular major whole step, half step pattern. So we start with the tonic, or the first note of the scale. We go up a whole step. We go up a whole step and a half step and a whole step, another whole step, another whole step, and a half step. So those are the notes. We have a black note, two white notes, two black notes, two white notes, and then we're back at E-flat. So those are the notes, and the fingering is usually where people get a little confused. So when you're doing the black note scales, remember that there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern where you will play these 4 fingers, well, your thumb and your fingers, but these 4. And then in the same scale, there's a 1, 2, 3 pattern. So in this one, we start on our third finger in our right hand, and you automatically tuck your thumb under to F. F begins the 4-finger pattern where you have your two white notes and your 2 black notes. See how there's all 4 fingers there? And it can't be the 1, 2, 3 pattern because hopefully you know actually that we don't want to put our thumbs on a black note in a scale. We never do actually. We will put our thumbs in a black note when you're playing a chord, but that's different. So no thumbs on black notes. And so if you started with your third finger here and tried to play 1, 2, 3, and then tried your thumb again, well, you'd be breaking the rule right there. So that's one of the reasons why that can help remind you not to put your thumb there. No thumbs on a black note. So you play your third finger, you tuck under, thumb on F, flip around all the 3 fingers, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to tuck under again, thumb on C. And then this is where you get to play the 3-finger pattern. So remember, it's a black note, 2 white notes, 2 black notes, 2 white notes, and a black note. The other thing that people do to remember the fingering for this specific scale, for the E-flat major scale, is that the thumb and the pointer finger play the 2 white note patterns. So middle finger plays a black note, thumb and second finger play the 2 white notes. Then you have the 2 black notes, then thumb and second finger play the 2 white notes again, and then middle finger. So the scale looks like this. So remember to go slowly. In my other scale videos, I've taught that you can actually chunk those patterns where as soon as you play your thumb, you flip all the fingers over, play the thumb again, and flip over. And then when you're coming down, you play the 3, then you flip over all your fingers except for your thumb, add your thumb, and flip over again. So by doing that, you're getting you're creating the muscle memory to throw your fingers in place. So that's kind of like a superpower actually. So if you were wondering what your superhero power was, this is it. After you've practiced your scales, slow motion, it's kind of like the Matrix. Slow motion, you play your middle finger, you play your thumb, and while you are crossing over, your fingers are actually getting in place where they need to go so that your hand has already formed the whole step, half step pattern necessary, or in this case, all the whole steps necessary in your hand. So it doesn't happen, what doesn't happen is you don't play your third finger, then play your thumb, and then put each finger in place. What does happen, your superpower, is that you play your middle finger, you put your thumb in place. Meanwhile, as you're flipping the rest of your fingers over your thumb, They are going in, you're creating the distance of each of the fingers needed to play those notes. So superpower in action right here. See how I'm already ready? And then I can play all of those. Then you tuck your thumb under. And while I'm moving, I'm getting my fingers ready. So that's how you can play faster scales. You can keep practicing. If you do that over and over and over, even though it doesn't sound like a scale yet, you'll be able to do that just fine. So practice that chunking and it takes a little brain power. You want to analyze where your fingers go so you can tell each finger where to play. Once you've got the white notes are here, white notes are here, the rest are black notes, all of that helps when you're putting together your scale. So that's the right hand. And don't forget, go to pianoclassroom.com. You can print out this PDF that has the scales on it, all of the major scales actually, and the fingering for it. So that way you can just, stick it in your binder and pull it out when you're ready to practice. Most of music is made of scales, so it's really helpful to learn them. Okay, left hand. Now the left hand also starts on your third finger, which is nice because they don't always start on the same. But in this case, we have the 1, 2, 3 pattern, or 3, 2, 1 pattern, I should say. 3, 2, 1. And then you're going to cross over with your left, or your fourth finger on your left hand, and then your third finger. So these two get the black notes. Thumb and pointer finger come out. And then third finger crosses over again. Some people do cross over with the second finger. Later on, it's fine, but music isn't always just one nice, neat octave. And later on, you're going to want to go up 2 octaves where your left hand starts here and it continues up. So I recommend just getting in the habit of crossing with the correct finger. It just saves time. Why make more time and more work for yourself in the future when you don't have to? So here, left hand, you're going to play, again, very convenient, 1 and 2 in this scale, get the white notes. So your middle finger plays the black note. 1 and 2 play the white notes, but it's now 2 and 1. Remember that your thumb is 1 and your pointer finger is 2. So we have the white notes. We have to cross over with our fourth finger and our third finger. 2 and 1 play the white notes again. And then third finger crosses over. And the practice is the same for the left hand as it is for the right hand in terms of the idea of chunking the patterns and flipping your hand over and playing all the notes at once. It's all the same. So make sure when you've got your superhero power solid for the right hand, make sure it's solid for the left hand too. So you chunk all 3 notes, and then you're going to pivot over your thumb. Keep your thumb down. I'll do it in slow motion. Meanwhile, your fingers are forming into the next 3 notes. Did you see how my fingers actually stretched a little bit and acted as if they were about to play, as if my second finger was going to jump to C right away? Watch that again. So here's my second finger now, and I'm actually going to move, so in midair, I'll be ready for that note. So you play the first 3 notes. Thumb stays down, fingers lift up. I'm moving my second finger over, and I'm actually stretching a little further as I pivot. Now I can play all 3 fingers. Add my thumb. Tuck or cross over with, or pivot over your thumb with your middle finger. Get ready to jump on your thumb again. Flip your hand over and get all your fingers in place. And you want to be able to move that fast. So middle finger, thumb. That's a great practice strategy. And notice again, your thumb and your pointer finger are playing the white notes just like they were in the right hand. Tuck your thumb under again. So stay on your fourth finger. It creates good muscle memory. Tuck your thumb under, play your thumb, and then add the other 2 fingers as quickly as possible. So when you're practicing that way, it sounds a little weird, but it will help you become more comfortable to play faster. I like to tell my students that each finger has their own job, and if each finger knows what its job is and knows where it needs to play, then it just has to go when it is time for it to play, like when it's its turn. So you have your finger hurry up and wait as early as possible to stay on the note, and then when it's the time to play, it just plops down. And then hands together, go slowly. Trust me on this one. This is like multitasking for your brain. Middle finger start, but don't forget, when you're ready to do hands together, your right hand thumb tucks under while your left hand just chills out and stays right there. Then you play. Then you swing your right hand over. Now we're ready to play G. Notice these are the two white notes, but when you're doing this crossing and tucking under, it's easy to forget that these two fingers play the two white notes here and the two white notes here. So third finger, tuck under, flip over in the right hand only. Now cross over with the left hand, and 3 and 4 are also on the black notes, which is sometimes helpful to remember. But while your third finger is playing in the right hand, it's your fourth finger playing in the left hand. So remember, as soon as you're off, get your left hand. Did you notice how, I'll go back again. Watch my left hand right after my thumb plays. Watch my thumb. Did you notice how I threw it over and got everything ready? That happened because of creating muscle memory, doing. So once you've got that, it creates habit, which is nice. It allows you to think a little bit less while you're doing this. There's plenty of thinking to do. So tuck under with your right hand only, left hand steps up, left hand and right hand step up, left hand crosses over, right hand tucks under, left hand crosses over, but keep your thumb on the D. Just lift the D, but have it hover. Come back down, flip your left hand over, right hand crosses over. Notice fourth in the right hand plays, third in the left hand plays. Tuck your left hand thumb under, cross your right hand middle finger over. Whew. And that is the E flat major scale. So after you've gone really slowly with your scale, you can, don't forget right hand alone, left hand alone, or left hand alone, right hand alone. Doesn't matter which hand you start with. And then slowly hands together, you will be able to play your E flat major scale. Remember to go to pianoclassroom.com. You can get a PDF of all of the scales, and it has the fingering written in too, so you can print it out and put it in your music binder or whatever. And just a heads up, the left hand I wrote an octave lower. Remember that the E flat, I've been playing on the E flat that's directly below middle C. Here's middle C. Here's the E flat that I've been playing on. I actually wrote it on the PDF for you an octave lower, because there's only one ledger line. It's a lot easier to read one ledger line. I've said it before in my other videos. We're here to learn scales. We're not here to read a bunch of ledger lines. That's a different lesson. So to make it as convenient as possible for you, I included it mostly in the staff instead of starting it an octave higher. So you don't have to play with your hands 2 octaves apart. I mean, there's no rule that says you can't, but you don't have to. You can play it here, or you can even start down here and move your right hand down an octave. So enjoy playing your E flat major scale. This is a really common one if you're playing in any like jazz bands, especially any bands that have trumpets or trombones, baritones, tubas, all those brass instruments will play concert E flat quite a bit, which means for a piano player, that's your E flat scale. So practice that so that you can play with others and play other really cool pieces.